Welcome to this M13 draft video. I'm going to be covering my performance in last night's draft, what I picked, how I played, that sort of thing. Here's pack 1. Go ahead and discard the land and advertisement card. So you have Foil Battle of Wits, Predatory Rampage, Rummaging Goblin, Negate, Murder. Murder's a really good pick, actually. The Flash Fairies. I decided to go ahead and go with Predatory Rampage as it makes whatever set of creatures I have, regardless of their power, release the beatdown on my opponent. So I decided to try that route. Pack 2, see a Bloodhunter Bat, Mark of the Vampire, the Fairies again, Rain of Blades, the Blue Ring, and Arms Dealer. I'm gravitating towards the Arms Dealer simply because, especially when paired with cards like Krinko's Command, you get some excellent spot removal. See Kittled Fury, Titanic Growth, Giant Scorpion, couple Drakes, Sleep, Prized Elephant, and a Mog Flunkies. I remember some of my previous games, at least where I played blue, and I'm not set on colors yet, that Sleep was a complete blowout, so I take a chance, and I just pick Sleep here. The other cards, some of them kind of interesting, and looking back, maybe I should have picked the Krinko's Command to pair with Arms Dealer, but I took one of those chances, and I go ahead and pick Sleep in case I can curve into blue at any point and pass the pack. This pack, Unsummon, Plummet, Vastwood Gorger, Canyon Minotaur, Blood Reckoning, the red-green dual land, Avon Squire, and some other stuff. Plummet's good removal for the sideboard, Welkin turns, decent. Vastwood Gorger is really the only bomb in here, or, big, hard-to-beat creature. Since I've already got some green, I decided to go that route. Theoretically, I can splash him since he's only got one. This pack, Titanic Growth, Zombie Goliath, Yeva's Force Mage, Crippled Blight, Fungal Sprouting, and then the black-blue dual land. Again, Fungal Sprouting is what I end up gravitating towards. It's something that's splashable, and if I can pair it with one of my big creatures, then I'll get a decent payoff for it. This pack, Tricks of the Trade, Spelltwine, a Johnny Sunstriker, another Krinko's Command, Captain's Call, Sign in Blood. Instead of doing any of the sensible choices, I go for a Spelltwine like an idiot. This pack, Evolving Wilds, Hellion Crucible, the Red Ring, I forget, something Protector, Griffin Protector, a great white flyer. I don't have any white yet, so I'm debating if I'm going to swing into 3 colors, if I should grab the Evolving Wild. Looking back, I probably should have grabbed maybe the Volcanic Strength, but I end up deciding on the Hellion Crucible, simply because I found it's a great way, if you've got some extra land, to do something extra on your turn, and you end up having a 4/4 haste Hellion out of it. This pack, Naturalize, a great sideboard card, Reckless Brute, Mark of Mutiny, Duress, several cards depending on what deck you're building into. I pick Mark of Mutiny, which can play into certain things, especially if you do any kind of removal with Prey Upon, which I haven't picked yet, but I know I'm probably going to be playing green by now, so that's what I go with. This pack, Foil Battle of Wits, Wield, surprise, surprise. Got a Rummaging Goblin, Kraken Hatchling, Mind Rot, Captain's Call, and Negate. Again, I'm still kind of toying with the idea of blue. I should have probably grabbed the red Rummaging Goblin, although I do pick one later. Instead, in this pack, I end up going with the Kraken Hatchling. Got a Disentomb, a Downpour, Craterize, the Rats, and then Divine Favor, which is the white enchantment. Again, for some reason I was leaning towards blue. I think it's because I've never built a successful blue draft deck in M13. But again, with the card pool I have, Sleep is the only blue card worth anything that's playable. So, dumb decision. Here, Titanic Growth, Kindled Fury, Mastiff, and Mog Flunkies. Pick the Titanic Growth. Again, I pretty much know I'm going to be in green at this point. Pick the Trumpet Blast. Got a Gem in Becoming and War Falcon. Pick the Gem. And my last pick is Duress. Second pack. Got a Mog Flunkies there right off the top. Go to the back, discard land and token. Got a Nephrox. Got some other really good stuff in this pack, but Nephrox is pretty much a bomb blowout. Some other stuff I would have picked from this pack: Essence Drain, the Knight of the Black Knight, and then the Volcanic Guys are all amazing. But Nephrox is just a beast. In this, got Switcheroo, Mindclaw Shaman, the Merfolk Lord, Goblin Arsonist, Walking Corpse, Essence Scatter. I go ahead and flip through my cards. Evidently, you're not supposed to do this in an official draft, but it's completely fine to do it in a friendly draft. So I'm just trying to see what colors I'm going into, because at this point I'm pretty confused. So I'm sort of sorting through colors, seeing if it's even worth playing blue at this point, which I decide I don't think it is. But, you know, look through. Blade Tusk Boar is pretty strong. Goblin Arsonist, Switcheroo, Mindclaw Shaman. And then some decent white, and then if I was playing blue, Essence Scatter is a great counterspell. I end up going with the Mindclaw. Got Encrust, Searing Spear, which is what I should have taken. Instead I chose Encrust, because I'm stupid. Mog Flunkies, got the Centaur Courser, the Spiked Baloth, another Predatory Rampage. So I just go for it. It's a decent to great card in limited, depending on your deck. So I decide playing 2 might not be bad, depending on what kind of deck I build. Zombie Goliath, Divine Favor, or I'm sorry, the black one, Diabolic, the one to fetch cards, Tricks of the Trade, another Krinko's Command. I've seen like 3 at this point. I went ahead and go with the Zombie Goliath. I needed some more creatures, so. This pack's a little underwhelming. Got the Wanvali Beast Tracker, got an Evolving Wilds. I'm kind of torn between the two. At this point, Wanvali, I don't think can grab anything out of my deck, but he's excellent if you've got that one reach creature or that one big trample bomb that you can hunt for. So I decided to pick that. Got Negate, Smelt, Tormented Soul. You know, a bunch of more underwhelming cards. A foil, Touch of the Eternal, I think that card's called. I went ahead and picked the Tormented Soul. Great 1-drop in the right deck. Flinthoof Boar, Blade Tusk Boar, both are excellent picks. Rummaging Goblin, Goblin Battle Jester. This is a very decent pack. And I go with the Blade Tusk. Mog Flunkies, Dark Favor. I go with the Dark Favor. Mog Flunkies, retrospect, or, you know, in retrospect, is a better idea. Mindclaw Shaman out of that pack. It seems that red and white are fairly open. As you can see in this pack, I go ahead and pick the Fire Elemental. He's the best out of those 4 cards. Safe Passage is great, depending on how you build. This is between War Falcon and Mog Flunkies. Go with Mog. I'm not playing white. I wasn't planning on playing white, so that was a good choice. This is between War Falcon and Glorious Charge. War Falcon's just the better card. And then last pick in a race. On to pack 3. Flipping through, discard the token and such. Got an Attended Knight, a Primal Hunt Beast, a couple of Drakes, Farseek, Volcanic Strength, Vidalcan Entrancer, Glorious Charge, Wall of Fire, Gem of Becoming, Duskmantle Prowler, and Trading Post. I realized I had never played Trading Post. I kind of gravitated towards that card. Some of the uncommons are a little underwhelming, like Primal Clay I would have normally played, but I decided to go for the Farseek. Since I think I'm going to go into 3 colors. It's a great mana-fixing card. Again, in retrospect, I don't think I made the best choices this draft, but Goblin Arsonist, Duty Bound Dead, Mark of the Vampire, Fire Elemental, Archaeomancer. I go for Mark of the Vampire. I'm hoping to get the Tormented Soul, Mark of the Vampire combo going. Deadly Recluse, Tricks of the Trade, Vastwood Gorger, Arbor Elf, Garruk's Pack Leader, Phylacterary Lich. I go for the Grook's Pack Leader. I already have a Vastwood Gorger, and hopefully I'm going to get some card draw off this. This pack got a Titanic Growth, a Prey Upon, Courtly Provocateur. I go for the Prey Upon. Another Farseek. See Timberpack Wolves, Canyon Minotaur, Wit's End, and a foil Pillarfield Ox. Divination, Revive. For some reason, I end up, picking another Farseek again. I don't think I know what this deck's doing at this point. Turn to Slag, Essence Scatter. Those are the, I go for the Essence Drain, rather. Essence Scatter was in the pack, but Essence Drain is what I end up going with. It's splashable, technically. A foil Bond Beetle, Cleaver Riot, Plummet, Faith's Reward. There are a few that, kind of stand out. I end up going for the Cleaver Riot. Again, it's kind of like the Overrun card. If I have a bunch of mediocre creatures, all of a sudden they turn into pretty awesome creatures. Door to Nothingness, Farseek, Volcanic Strength. I'm like, I'll pick a third Farseek, see how that goes. Trading Post Wield, Primal Clay, Volcanic Strength. I wanted to play with Trading Post, never have in draft, so I go ahead and pick that, see how it plays out for me. Safe Passage, Fire Elemental. I go ahead and pick the Fire Elemental. He's the bomb. It's, again, I don't think a lot of people were playing in red, so it's surprising he wield. Rummaging Goblin is pretty fantastic for deck filtering, so I go ahead and pick that. Really underwhelming pack. None of these cards I would play in my actual deck. This actually has Canyon Minotaur, which I will gladly play. A 3/3 for 4 is not the best, but I'll take it. And last pick, Angel's Mercy. First game is against Josh. I go ahead and shuffle. He's already shuffled, so we cut each other's decks. We're both happy with our hands, and he won the die roll, so he plays first. He plays a forest, pass to me, or he plays a swamp. I play a forest, pass back to him. He plays a forest, taps both, and plays a Bloodthorn Vampire. I play a mountain. Pay 2, play Farseek. Diving into my deck for a swamp. Shuffle up a little bit and allow him to cut. He chooses to not cut and pass the turn. Plays his land for the turn. Pays 2 for another Bloodthorn Vampire and swings in for 1. I go to 19. Play a 4th land. Sort of deliberate my hand a little bit. I've got a couple of cards. I actually end up asking Clint if the Bloodthorn Vampires, if his sacrifice creature, if he can sack himself, which Clint tells me he can. So I go ahead and pay 3, Mark of Mutiny, steal one of his Bloodthorn Vampires, put a 1/1 counter on it, swing in for 2. Josh goes to 18. Then I use his sacrifice ability to kill it, so he can't regain control of it at the end of turn. And then I pass. Plays another land. Swings in with his Bloodthorn Vampire, putting me at 18. And passes back the turn to me. I tap 2 for Mog Flunkies. And pay 2 for Dark Favor. I lose 1 life, go to 17. And it gives Mog Flunkies +3/+1, so he's now a 6/4. But he cannot attack or block alone. And I pass back the turn to Josh. Josh plays another forest. He pays 4 for a Roaring Primadox. And he swings at me for 1, knowing I can't block with my Mog Flunkies. So I go to 17. He incorrectly has me at 16 on the... Oh, yes, I am at 16. Forgot about the Dark Favor. During my turn, I do some deliberation. Pay 5 for Predatory Rampage. But then I realize he lets me take it back. I realize Mog Flunkies can't attack alone, so it was it's kind of stupid for me to even try to, because he's useless. So I play Fungal Sprouting instead, targeting Mog Flunkies. So I get 6 1/1 fungal or 1/1 Sapperling tokens, which I show as a 6 die. Rather than having to pull out, 6 token cards. Here in a moment, I actually remind Josh that the Roaring Primadox makes him bounce one of his creatures during his upkeep, so he actually has to return the vampire to his hand. He can replay it if he chooses, which he then chooses to do. Then he passes the turn back to me. Play another land. I go ahead and pay 5, and now I play Predatory Rampage. So all of my creatures get +3/+3, and all of his creatures must block if able. So I swing in with 6 4/4s and a 9/7. So he can block 2 of the 4/4s, but he can't block 4 of them. So he goes ahead and concedes. I actually Messed up in recording our second game, but I did win our second game as well. So I went 2-0 in the first round. I've been recording this with my iPhone, so I didn't have enough free space, and the phone cut off during our second game. After our second game, I went back and freed some space so that future matches I could record the whole thing for. The second round is against Clint, the gentleman I asked earlier a rules question. He's one of our more knowledgeable players, at least around rules. So he's someone that when we call a judge at one of our houses, it's usually to him, unless one of us, happens to know some of the specific rulings that a player is asking about. So I'm playing him in the second round. Go ahead and shuffle. He wins the roll, so he gets to choose, and he chooses to go first. We go ahead and cut and shuffle each other's decks.
How did it go? Have you been winning on camera? Did you win?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna edit everything. I'm gonna do voiceover commentary, saying being like, flash up card art. Like if a card's being played, I'll show up the image. I'll have scores on the side. I enjoy video editing.
No, I'm not angry.
It'll take me forever.
I'm not angry.
I mean,
you should have me over commentary on my side. What I was thinking.
Okay.
I'm just toying about this.
Fucking techno Viking.
Look at our opening hands.
I know my fucking memes, Phil.
Clint and I are both happy. He taps a mountain and plays Goblin Arsonist. I play a mountain and pass the turn. He swings in for 1. I go to 19.
Willie takes 1.
I saw it.
He plays a
When I'm watching
plains
when I'm watching
and plays Mog Flunkies
everything's a little bit slower
and passes the turn.
in the actual action, so I can see your hands moving, but I
I play a forest
getting a little fucked up watching this.
And pass the turn.
Because it's not at like 34, it's at like 20 frames per second.
He swings in with both. I go to 13. Pays 3 mana and plays an Attended Knight. 2/2 first strike, and he gets a 1/1 soldier token in play as well. I have to discard a card as I have too many in hand and unable to play anything. I pass back the turn. He swings in for 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I go to 5. Draw a card. Nothing. So I scoop. Second game. I choose to go first. Look at my cards a little bit closely, more closely this time, as Clint's deck is very quick and aggro. Mostly high drops in the hand, so I decide to mulligan down to 6. Clint decides to mulligan as well. Cut each other's decks after shuffling and see how 6 cards looks. Can't do it. Only have 1 land. Decide to mulligan down to 5. Clint realized he picked up one too many cards, so he puts 1 back. Cuts my deck again. Count to 5. Hand looks better than before, but still not perfect. Pass the turn after playing a swamp. He plays a plains and passes. Play another swamp and pass. He plays a mountain and passes. I play a mountain and pass. He plays a plains, plays out an Attended Knight, creating a soldier again. Pass the turn as I've got nothing to play. He swings for 3, go to 17. Plays another Attended Knight, gets another token, passes the turn. Draw more useless cards, but play a Tormented Soul. Then go ahead and pay 2 more. Dark Favor puts me at 16. Tormented Soul is now a 4/2 unblockable. And pass the turn. Clint plays 3 for a Reckless Brute. Swinging in for 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. Putting me at 7. Play a mountain. Play the only thing that can, unfortunately, not even, kind of keeps me alive is Blade Tusk Boar, 3/2 Intimidate. Pass back the turn. Clint plays 2, Mountain Walk, and that signifies the game. Play against Michael in the 3rd round after Clint beat me 2-0. Michael beat me at the roll. He will play first. After shuffling and cutting, we count to 7. I decide to keep the hand. Michael plays an Evolving Wilds, passes the turn, searches for a swamp, and puts into play. I play a forest and pass the turn. Michael plays a Plains and plays Avon Squire, 1/1 Flying Exalted. I play a swamp, pass the turn. He plays a forest, taps 3 for Defenders of Akara, or Guardian of Akara, sorry. Swings for 3 in the air because of Exalted. I play a forest and pass the turn. He pays 4 for the Exalted Enchantment, allows him to tap a creature, swings in for 4. Play a forest and trading post and pass the turn. Pays 2 for another Avon Squire, pays 2 for the knight, the Black Knight. Swings for 6 in the air. Play a Hellion Crucible. I mull over the board state because I'm pretty sure he's got me at this point. But I do have an Essence Drain in hand, so I decide to go ahead and Essence Drain his knight. It dies and I gain 3 life. He puts Mark of the Vampire on Avon Squire. Swings for a ton of lifelink in the air. Passes the turn. Play a swamp. I pay 1, sack Trading Post to draw a card, and scoop for game 1. This time I decide to play first. I know his deck is super aggro, so that will influence my decision whether or not to mulligan an opening hand. After shuffling, we cut. Count to 7. 6, I'm sorry. Play a forest and pass. He plays a plains and passes. Play a mountain and pass. He plays a swamp, plays Aven, or the ring, the white ring that gives vigilance and buffs white creatures. Play a forest and pass. He plays a swamp to play an attended knight, which gets him a soldier token. Play a mountain and play a canyon minotaur. He plays the Aven Squire, swinging with the attended knight, which now has exalted, so he's a 3/3. He decides to attach the ring, so 3/3 vigilance first strike. I don't block. Go to 17. Play a forest. Play a Farseek. Go and get a swamp. Put into play tapped. And I decide to pass the turn. He pays 3 to get the Guardians of Akrasa. Swings in with the attended knight. I block in Titanic Growth, which means I win that battle. His attended knight dies. He then equips the ring on Aven Squire and passes the turn. I pay 6 for a Vastwood Gorger, 5/6, and pass back. His Aven Squire gets a counter. He plays a swamp, pays 4, puts Mark of the Vampire. Swings for 5 and lifelink in the air, vigilance. He then equips the ring to his soldier token and passes the turn. I draw and play a forest. Pay 4 for a fungal sprouting, so I get 5 1/1s. And swing in with my 5/6, and he takes it. Puts him back at square one at 20. Then I play a Rummaging Goblin. His soldier gets a token. Or his token gets a counter, rather. He plays Sacks Evolving Wilds, gets a Plains, put into play tapped. He equips the ring back on the Aven Squire. Puts it back on the soldier and passes. After much thinking, I swing in with the Vastwood Gorger. He takes the 5. His soldier token gets a counter. He plays a Swamp. Pays 4 for Odric. Pays 1 to equip the ring back on his Aven Squire. Swings for 6 in the air. He gains 6. Pays 1 to equip the ring on soldier token again. And passes. Rummaging Goblin, I discard a Mindclaw Shaman to draw a card. And then I scoop. Michael 2-0s me, and that puts my record at winning 1 round, losing 2.